To me? I thought I was gonna... Oh, my bad. Okay, go.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, AfterBuzzers! You are watching AfterBuzz TV After Show for Scorpion Season 2, Episode 21, called Twist and Shout. Join us as we break down the episode and give our thoughts and predictions, so stay tuned.
Yeah.
Here we are. What did you think of the episodes?
I liked it.
Susannah, my awesome co-host, here with me once again this week. Before that, where can they follow you on Twitter and Instagram so they can talk about this episode with you?
You can follow me at Susannah_Kim. It's SUSANNAH.
Awesome. And you guys can find me on Monse Bolanos on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos, MONSEBOLANOS. Twist and Shout.
Yeah.
Good song to have.
Easy,
right? I know. Right when we looked at the name of the episode, well, at least we have a song.
Right? No question.
Yeah. And my question was like, why Twist and Shout? Because I thought of the song and you were like, Twister? I was like, well, that's not. I thought of Twist and Shout. So they didn't twist and shout. They didn't dance.
They shouted a little bit.
They did shout a little bit. You like the episode?
I did. I mean, obviously, as always, there's like a few things I'm like, really? But overall, I thought it was, it was easy to follow. I liked that it took them out of LA. I always like when they, have to brave the elements, because it's like, we always get the same stuff here. So it's kind of nice to see them in a tornado when we ever deal with that. So yeah, I like that.
Sweet. And we got a lot of, on this episode, a lot of characters. Just so many new people.
Yeah.
Because usually we get like one or two. This one I feel like we got a lot of new characters.
A lot of people that we have to like care about.
Yeah, a little bit. And then they dropped 2 names of previous characters. Haywood. Would you help me?
Hey, would you help me?
And then the doctor, Walter and
Dr. Rizzuto.
Yeah, both
and Linda came back too.
Yeah,
so
but she actually came back. Those 2 names were just dropped.
That's true.
Linda, were you shocked?
Yeah. I kind of I totally didn't expect to see her back. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but yeah, I did not expect to see her back. I just thought when she was like, no. When he asked her out, she was like, no. Like, I was like, well, that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
It seems like she knows what she wants and doesn't want.
I remember asking you, does Linda come back? And you're like, nope. So quick. You were just like, no, she's not coming back. Bye. Bye, Linda. Linda is played by Brooke Nevin, and I like her. I like her choices as an actress for that character.
Yes.
She could just take a very normal route of being just like girl next door, very normal, but she makes herself a little abnormal.
Yeah, she's a little quirky.
And I appreciate all those little things that I think go well with Walter.
Right, and it's funny to see her like judge Walter, because it's like, girl, you are just as weird.
You are just as weird, just not as smart.
Right, yeah.
But you're just as weird. So I was glad to see her, because I was like, what? If they would have introduced somebody random that Walter was going to start dating, it would have been like, why not just date Linda?
That's true.
So it was like...
Over someone else, but yeah. I don't know, I kind of just feel like, it's so convenient that now that Tim's here for Paige, that we just got Linda over Walter, whatever.
And she came back. Because she was the one that said no.
He sought it out. Right.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so convenient, but okay.
Yeah, and he even talks about like probability. Like I never thought I was going to see you again.
Right.
So I was glad. We also get Miss Pandova. I mean, John Pandova is the main guy that we got to like, but Miss Pandova. Why?
Yeah.
Why did we get her at all?
At the very end.
Yeah. And no offense to like the actress. The actress, I wrote her name down, who I thought did very lovely, Ann Benson.
Yeah.
It just was kind of like, I wish you would have sent her son like back home and they had that special moment. Mom, I found this stuff. Dad's blah blah blah, but it was like it shouldn't have been done at the garage.
Right. I thought it was weird that she showed up at the garage.
Right.
And she wasn't like walked in by John. Was she?
No,
she just showed up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, you were around.
Yeah. Right.
She drove herself. Is that you think?
No.
She Ubered.
I have no idea. So I just was like, this. It's not that I don't want to see her. I just thought that scene was really weird.
It was awkward, yeah. But once they got into it, I kind of like understood, like, oh, it is nice to finally see the team get a thank you for something they did. Because, it's almost always like they never get the recognition they deserve. Yeah. They kind of dropped that off because they used to like very much hone that in. Like, oh, Scorpion's never recognized. They're always like, oh, the Homeland team or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, this time it was nice to actually get like a thank you from someone that really benefited from their work. So that was nice.
That was nice. But you know how you could have done that? You could have still had the son go home, have that private moment, him pick up the phone,
right,
and say, "Hey, Team Scorpion, my mom's here and wants to say thank you." So simple, so simple. I just thought that was really weird. I just didn't know why. I was like, "Where did this girl come from?"
This girl,
she doesn't even go here. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't even go here.
Yeah.
We also get Kwan, who is like the head of the construction site, who is later connected to somebody at the nursing home, and eventually helps them out with the trucks. Everything's connected. It's like the movie Crash. Like, they're all connected.
Yeah.
And we get Dr. Nguyen, who is the doctor at the nursing home, which I call the nursery. It's like same thing.
Yeah.
I just
Like,
not that
a nursery.
It's like nursing home. Yeah. We get him, who eventually kind of gets us to understand what's going on between Thon, I think is his name, Ton, the guy that killed Pandova's father.
Right.
I don't know if that's how it's pronounced,
The
but
old guy.
yes. So we get those two, and we get John Pandova, played by Josh Randall.
Yeah.
Do you like him?
I liked him. He was he's a mix of Ryan Reynolds. Sometimes he was a little Bradley Cooper, and then he was a little bit of that guy from Homeland. Yeah, right? He totally looked like that guy. Yeah, I liked him. I thought he was straightforward. I can totally see him, doing like some leading man kind of stuff. Yeah, I liked him.
I, for a second, thought he was evil. Like, for a little bit, I was like, I think there's an ulterior motive to what we're doing here.
Yeah, I did think that for a second. I don't remember what they mentioned that I was like, ooh, I wonder if he's,
Like, there's something else that he wants.
Right. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, but no, none of that.
He's just
None
a
of
good
that.
guy.
He's just a good guy. But I liked him. After that, it was like, oh, yeah. It was interesting to have him and have Tim added to the whole equation.
Right, I know. I kind of felt like when Cabe walked in with this guy, I was like, wait.
Did we recast?
Because I know, right? And why wait? Why was Tim just hanging out at the garage by himself at what o'clock in the morning is this? Because, Ralph hasn't gone to school yet. So did he wake up there? I'm not sure. And you came into, is this your work now? Because Cabe's not there. So I'm not sure that you should be there if Cabe's not there, right?
That's very true.
It's like a bi-relation kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
A little bit.
He even says, like, boss to Walter, and Walter's straight up like, no, you're not part of the team, not your boss.
Yeah, let's talk about that relationship. Because I want to talk about relationships, about Tim and Walter. Because at the beginning, there's like a little bit of competition with Proton Arnold, the game that he ends up beating Walter's score. And Walter's like, this is not possible because I memorized whatever he memorized and knows exactly where to shoot, when to shoot, blah, blah, blah.
Apparently it is possible.
And Paige kind of says, like, are you threatened? Like, what is this? And then he's like, no. Are there any egg bagels left? Which is the same line she says to him when Linda comes in, which I love that. I love that. But there was a little bit of competition between Tim and Walter at first. But then Tim, throughout the episode, kind of gives him a lot of credit, like tries to befriend him.
Yeah.
And Walter's like, nah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think Tim has a lot of respect for Walter. I don't think he's definitely aware that, obviously he said he overheard Toby talking about it, but I don't think he has any sort of, like, malicious intent. I don't think he wants to, like, steal Paige, or he's even, like, totally aware of that.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, he probably doesn't think anything is going on. And you can see that at the end, because at the end, again, he goes and kind of tries to befriend him and tells him, like, you are badass.
Right.
To Walter. Straight up saying to him, you're badass. You drove into a tornado and there's no other way around it, because Walter's like, no, I just did blah, 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 what I have to do.
It's not a calculation.
Yeah, like, come on.
Yeah. And I like that Walter also is, like, giving him kind of credit too, when he was like, I like that you were really worried about Paige in that moment. It's like, that's huge of Walter to, like, say something like that. That's very big of him. And then he turns around and he's back to regular Walter when he goes back to, like, I'm gonna beat this score now.
Yeah, it's very true. And that talk leads Tim to asking Paige out, because of what Walter says. Well, I should ask, because I thought it was interesting, Tim asking Walter out to eat.
Yeah,
I was like, that's so nice.
It makes sense. I mean, it kind of, the way I kind of see it is like a new employee trying to suck up to his boss almost.
100%. 100%. And he says no because of Linda? I was like, what is her name?
Linda, right.
I was going to say Brooke, but that's the actress's name. Linda, and he calls her, but she doesn't answer.
Yeah, he should have just gone to dinner with him.
Yeah, and he kind of leaves a message.
Oh, yeah.
Sort
real
of.
awkward message.
It's kind of a message, you know? Like, he said some words. And, like,
put them together.
And eventually said something like, maybe we can get together.
Right, yeah. I think he said the word date.
I think. So, yeah, that was good. And then Tim tells him that he's gonna go meet Paige and Ralph
Ralphie.
at that restaurant around the corner that
Ralphie's.
they mention all the time.
Always.
And that's when Walter goes to try and beat his score. Tim and Paige. You don't like it?
No.
Your face.
No, I'm not having it. I'm just, I'm all about
Walter and Paige.
Yeah,
You just want that to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I was surprised too that when Toby was talking about it, because Toby was almost like not pushing, but saying like, oh, it's kind of good that Linda showed up because Tim and Paige are starting to like whatever, and it's like I'm kind of surprised that he's not rooting for Wage, right?
Yeah,
I kind of feel like he's been in this like team relationship, and he's always like mentioned it and brought it up. I would think that he would be aware enough to see that maybe a relationship between Walter and Paige would be good for Walter,
I don't necessarily agree with the fact that he's not rooting for it. I think he is like trying to undermine him and saying, you're right, I'm tripping, it's just because how you talk, feel, and look at her. Like, I think he is trying to use kind of like a reverse psychology because he knows
to make him aware
to make him aware, like, dude, that's what I think.
Yeah.
I do think he's rooting for them. So I just think he kind of knows Walter.
Right. I guess I was just like hoping that, the funny part of Toby would almost like try to get in between Paige and Tim. That would be hilarious.
That would be, right? Maybe we might see that. You never know.
I would love that.
Because at this point, nobody knows really that they're hanging out aside from Walter.
Right.
So the team could try and sabotage
that would be so
Walter
funny.
Tim. Or a Tim Paige thing.
And there was a moment too when Ralph it was in the beginning when they were talking about he's gonna beat the score. For a second I thought Ralph was giving shade to Tim because he was
not taking off his headphones.
That's what I thought, and I was like, oh, Ralph wants his mom to be with Walter, obviously.
Yeah, that would have been funny, but no, he was just working on, which we'll talk about in just a second. We didn't get a lot of Paige and Walter, but the mission, they went off together.
Yeah.
So in the mission, it was like
he saves her life.
He saves her life completely.
Right?
And I thought we would get more. I thought we would get more from her.
Especially after that moment. First of all, a thank you would have been nice. Right? I mean, they just drop.
Yeah.
And then she makes a joke and it's like, all right, I feel like, you just held me down from flying all the way to I don't even know where. And like, a hug would have been cool.
A hug.
A thanks. A high five or something maybe. Just like.
The line she said, though, is really funny. When he's like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, just about
every
day. That was really funny.
Sorry.
But I thought I was surprised at how she kind of gave nothing aside from that. Just that comment. There was no thank you. You would think it would have like a moment. Just like a small moment.
Yeah, anything. Like appreciation. And just like, because we kind of talked about that before, like hoping that a big moment
would
like
bring
that
them together.
Exactly, would make her realize, oh my god, I needed you all along. But no, not so much.
It didn't work out.
But I love the little moment where Walter convinces Ralph to use his technology. This is in the mission.
Yes.
And then Paige has that look,
that smile
oh
of
my
like,
god,
she's so good.
Melted me. Yeah, that was so good.
It's so funny because I was gonna talk about that moment. She's so good at using different smiles to mean different things.
Yeah.
Like in that moment, it was like a proud mom.
Very subtle.
So I was like, dude, you're so good. You singer are really good at this whole acting.
She was an actor first.
Was she?
Yeah, she wanted to pursue acting first, and then she went on whatever.
American Idol.
Sure.
The Voice.
I should know because I really liked her, but American Idol. It was American Idol. Maybe it was American Idol. Okay. There's so many now.
We whispered because we weren't sure.
Yeah, right.
That's what it was.
But yeah, and then because someone told us that before. She wanted to be an actress, and then she went on to do that instead.
Well, but
I mean, that worked out for her.
She's kicking ass. She's kicking ass in this, and but yeah, she's so good. Like subtle, different smiles, different things that she does, and it's like she gets the message across as to what she's feeling at like I feel you.
Right. She's never like super over the top.
No.
It's very low key.
Very low key.
Yeah, but you relate to it.
Yeah. Oh, so good. And we didn't get much of Quintus, just like smidges here and there.
Things,
a little, like the whole hat thing in the middle of the tornado. He loses his hat, and then he's like, it's a package deal. And she's like, well, maybe not anymore. And they go back to the garage, and he picks up a hat, says he has them stashed everywhere, and then says, hypothetical marriage.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
I was really shocked because I was like, I feel like you guys went from on a scale of 1 to 10, you were on 3. You just went to 7,
Right.
real quick, and it took you to get to 3 5 years. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
true.
That's what it is.
But I think that totally showed on Happy's face too, because when he said that, her face was like, "What?"
Right.
So I wonder if that's gonna play out into the next episode,
yeah,
like,
or the next season,
Right. Yeah.
you know? Yeah, because he says, like, and he I like how he says hypothetically, if you're married, and kind of like brushes it off and asks the question, and then he's like, by the way, that hypothetical, like, let's simmer.
Right. Just have it on in the background.
Just have it on in the background. See how you feel about that. I like it. I like them. I like Quintus.
Yeah.
I really do. I hope we get a little bit more every time, just because they're so different, and I like Toby, the way Toby is with Happy, because Toby's a different Toby with Happy than he is with everybody else.
He's trying to be a better person when he's with her.
Right.
And that's what you want when you're with, you want
Very true.
someone that's going to make you a better person.
Yeah. So let's get into the little bit of the mission. Well, we get Ralph. Let's talk about Ralph and Sylvester, their relationship, and kind of what Ralph went through in this one.
Yeah.
Poor Ralph. I feel
Yeah, seriously.
Right?
He got gypped.
You got that's so awful. So from the beginning, Ralph is working on this machine. He like is not worried about the Proton Arnold or the fact that Linda came to see Walter, and he's like, I'm making this thing for my college class, and it's due at 3 p.m. today, and it transmits data through sound waves.
Sure.
So sure. And Tim's like, all you hear is white noise. And it's like, you're right, Tim. Like, that's what we hear. But in reality, it's like transmitting a lot of information. He says that it transmits the Library of Congress in 5.9 seconds.
Right.
That seems a little ridiculous, right?
I mean, I don't know what the Library of Congress is.
Neither do I, but it sounds important, and it sounds ridiculous to be done in 5.9 seconds.
Yeah.
But hey, he's still a normal kid and still has to go to school and take a spelling test.
Yeah.
What is it that Happy says? Happy's like,
He's like, it's like making Seabiscuit do pony rides.
yes! That was so good.
That was perfect.
That was so perfect. So true, but at the same time, Paige has the right idea. Be as normal
Yes.
as possible.
Totally support it.
Yeah, I'm with her. I'm totally with her on that.
Yeah, because him just going to college classes, that would mess him up too.
Oh
Shoot.
yeah, that doesn't help. So it's good that she's keeping that foot down about that. And he goes to class with Sylvester. Sylvester doesn't go on the mission. He stays home and helps, but doesn't actually go to Vietnam or anything like that.
Yeah.
And he's really supportive wearing that shirt.
He's a cheerleader. Yeah.
Go Ralph.
Yeah.
Was it in glitter? Am I tripping?
Oh yeah, I think it was a
It
little
was
glittery.
a little glitter, right?
Yeah.
Like gold, like, you know.
And Ralph is mortified.
Ralph talking to Paige is just
So
like,
cute.
no, mom.
So cute.
Yeah.
That little kid. Gosh.
He's really good. Yeah.
Good comedic timing.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, which is tough. You can't teach that. Nuh-uh. And at the end, poor little guy, he's all sad because he thinks the teacher has failed him for his project. And it turns out the teacher stole his idea. Not expecting that.
Yeah, I did not see that coming.
I didn't see that storyline coming back. Like the
Right.
whole, okay, you failed.
I thought it was just about him being failed.
Yes.
And, and like
then-
the teacher not understanding him
Yeah.
or whatever.
Right.
That was not the lesson.
No, I
The
liked
lesson is that there are terrible people out there
Dude.
that will take advantage of you.
And it's like, what are you thinking doing this to an 11-year-old who just created this?
I know. What a terrible person.
What a terrible
right?
person. And you think they're
Can't
not
wait
going
for
to
them
figure
to
this
take him
out?
down. Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like, hold on. If I try and take down a genius first,
Right?
Let me figure my stuff out and maybe talk
Right.
to some people before I decide to do this.
Yeah, he didn't run it by anyone.
Didn't run it by anyone. Made an impulse decision and stole an idea from an 11-year-old genius. And we're gonna get Haywood Jaheltme
Yeah.
back.
But I like how they're like, oh, we need, this
Like
the
the
best,
best-
lawyer and whatever, and that's going to be a $250,000. And Sly's like, no, why don't we go with Haywood? He's free. So you guys couldn't find any middle ground?
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
It was
I thought the
just
same thing.
$250,000 or free.
Yeah.
That's, okay,
Yeah.
cool. I mean, okay, cool. I'm sure you could Google, but that's cool.
But Ralph says something along the lines of like, oh, I like that he roots for the little guy.
That was so cute when he said that.
Yeah.
So cute.
Says that, and it's like he wants to really, like Sylvester's like he hasn't won, he really wants to win.
Right, he just wants to win a
And
case.
this is pretty easy to win.
Hopefully.
Like you know what you think, like Ralph made this,
Right.
Like there's no other. I'm
Right.
sure that the garage has like some sort of camera running,
way to prove it?
a way to. I'm sure of it. I'm sure they can figure out a way to prove that it was his idea and not the professor's. So it's like, yeah, Haywood might get his first win.
That would be cute.
That would be great, right?
Yeah.
And it's
although
good
they
for-
kind of dropped to Sylvester's case, right?
Is that what
They
that
didn't
meant?
mention it at
They
all.
didn't, and it was, and I thought that too when he says like he really wants to win. Maybe we can give him his first win. I was like,
He
so
didn't
does that
mention
mean
right?
yours is off, that's it?
Right.
Yours off the table? Do we give up?
Right.
That's
He
just
didn't even mention it. I wish he
Yeah.
would have at least said like, "Oh, while he's working on my case," or anything. But yeah,
But
we'll see.
I thought that was weird.
Yeah.
But I hope it comes back.
Yeah.
I want to know what happens to the Megan Dodd.
Fox? Oh, I have
Megan
no idea.
Fox.
Right?
No.
What year is it?
Megan
2006?
Dodd psychiatric. No,
Psychiatric?
what is it called?
Pediatric. Man, nursing home,
I am just,
psychiatric,
you guys,
pediatric.
right?
Monty's not a big baby person, you guys.
Okay. This person, she's talking smack, and she's the one that just said Megan Fox. Okay.
I mean, I was just like trying to figure out where you were going. I heard Megan, and that was the first thing I said.
Megan Dodd. And then we go into the real mission with John Pandova coming, who works for POW/MIA, basically locating, retrieving remains of Marine soldiers, U.S. military across the world, so that people can, have a funeral and like have some closure. So it's like a really good like a really good thing.
Cause, yeah.
A really good cause, yeah. 10 Marines from this location over, what did they say, 45 years ago? And there was a war, and 10 Marines went missing, never found. And they found like a patch or something, like the patch of a uniform in the rubble. That was like the first piece of evidence.
Right.
But it's not enough.
Exactly.
It's like they need more stuff, and they're building like some sort of factory on this place, on this land.
Grounds, they can't just, retrieve the bodies anymore.
I liked how Walter was like, why to Cabe? Why are we so gung-ho about this?
Love that. We've never really seen that.
Never
really seen his like questioning his judgment.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I loved it.
I was like, why is Scorpion doing this type of thing? Like, I get it's for a good cause, but even Tappy's like, we're not archaeologists.
Right.
Like, this doesn't seem like Scorpion genius thing, which I guess, you need the software, but it's like, okay, so have them do the software but not do the mission.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You could use Pandova's guys. I'm sure he has a team.
I'm sure
Where are your people.
Yeah. Is it just a one-man team?
these-
Are you president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer of this company?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I felt weird. So I like that Walter
Yes.
questions it.
Yeah, and it surprised me, so I like that. Yeah.
And then Cabe really has no answer aside from it's for a good cause to give people like closure and a sense of relief. Something
and the
that
whole team kind of felt that way.
the whole team kind of got defensive. And then he brings up like Megan's his sister, not Megan Fox, his sister's ashes, and how he just kept them in the glove box of his car.
And Happy's like, and that's weird.
And that's weird.
That's not normal.
Yeah. So I like that it was that simple of an answer, where it was just like, that's what it is. You just don't get it. No, everyone else got it except you. So they need to create this software that is gonna take a photograph of items that they may find. Happy puts it together, uses this DSP chip that can take clear images, which later comes into effect. A very important piece of the puzzle there. I like something that I wrote here in the series, how Toby we didn't really talk about Toby and Walter, but like Toby and Walter lately have been calling each other out very subtly, but in every episode.
Oh yeah, they're working through their therapy.
Yeah, they're still working
missions.
through it, through the mission. So I wrote that down in this part. I think is when he brings up Paige at that point. But they kind of start to get the mission done. They get there, they set up camp, and they think they have it all ready to go, and then a storm comes in, a storm that was unexpected, and takes everything.
Yeah.
Just everything.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of weird that they didn't see that coming, you know?
Yeah. And it was like, was it really out of the blue? Like, did you guys not research?
Yeah.
I mean, Toby makes a comment about how they were like, he says, we were here to do 2 years of work in 2 days.
Right.
And now we have 2 hours. It's like, why do you guys do that to yourselves? Like, I feel like that's when if you put out like, we can do jobs, just give us 2 hours to do it, make us grow gray hairs, make us impossible to do it. Like, all of their missions are almost seriously impossible.
Yeah. They're
All
always
of
on a
them.
super tight timeline.
Why can't we get like a relaxed mission?
Yeah, I think it's because the episodes only last like 30 minutes. So that has to be it, right?
They gotta go. Yeah, it's just, man, everything is so on edge every single time. When they head to Vietnam, they think they have enough time. They get to the place where they're supposed to stop the construction. And remember last week I made a comment of I was like, I predict that Paige is gonna be flown off or something. Walter's not gonna be able to hold on to her. Tim's gonna come in and like step in and be the hero. He kind of did that with the Vietnamese construction worker, because he like steps in and is like, I got this. Speaks in Vietnamese, and Toby calls out Walter. Walter's like, I can learn in an hour. Yeah. Okay, Walter, but right now you don't know it.
Right. And then Paige's face. Paige's speaking Vietnamese. It gives like a little glance to Paige, and she's like, hush, right? A little bit.
She's a little hot. She's feeling it. She loves it. So even though they kind of put everything back together after the storm, that DSP chip breaks.
Of course. They love to break everything.
They love to give each
drops and falls and breaks.
And if I honestly,
gonna like glue it back together.
I was like, so you guys just put everything back together already? Like that was like a really big windstorm that happened in 2 minutes, and it seemed like you guys lost everything in that. But that's when they head to the nursery home to see nursing home. I'm tripping, guys. I'm sorry. And I wrote nursery. That's what it is. This is what happens when you take notes and you're like trying to watch and listen. The nursing home. I got it. Then they head to the nursing home because they think they can find a similar type of chip to help the situation.
Yes, because they use the same chips in ultrasounds.
Right. And so there's no other hospital that's like the closest place that could have something like that.
Right.
They get there and there's like a fire.
Of course, right?
Lord Jesus is a fire.
Right.
Why? See, like one mission, and then it's like mission A, mission B, mission C.1, and mission C.2. Like,
and I like how the fire doesn't stop them at all.
No.
They're like, okay, so which room?
So we're still
which
gonna go
burning
in.
room do I run into?
Yeah, and it's thanks to Paige that they can go in, because she humanly is like, we're working with the Vietnamese government, trying to do this, trying to do that, because Walter's like, I'm a genius, I made this machine, and I need this chip. That's the way to do it, Walter. You really know how to how to warm people up. So they still go in, like you said, and get some stuff. But throughout the whole episode, you keep finding out every time the tornado keeps getting worse. Yeah. So of course, every time, just literally every time, the tornado's getting worse. And you're not gonna be able to survive. Today's getting worse. You're not gonna be able to survive. That's what you get the whole episode. They need to put these people from the nursing home.
Yeah, doing great. No babies.
No babies. Just nursing home. They need to put these people to somewhere safe because they were gonna drive off. No, wind crashed like a tree on the car.
Right. She was like, I think you missed that window.
And then they asked for a tunnel. Yeah. The tunnel's covered with aluminum.
I thought that was so convenient that old guy happened to mention, the
by
tunnel
the way,
is covered in aluminum. It's like, okay.
But he fought on that land. Turns out.
I know, but it was just convenient that he mentioned the aluminum. You know what I mean? He could have been like, there are tunnels, but they're, welded shut. Or, something like that. Or there are tunnels, period. And then they get there and it's like, oh, darn. I should have gone back and gotten those tomorrow. But yeah, it was nice and convenient.
It's a 30-minute episode.
I know,
Ain't nobody got time for that. They gotta, consolidate and make it all as quick as possible. And they create some sort of substance that is able to kind of melt through the aluminum. And they put these people in this tunnel under like a tree.
Right.
That's going to save them.
Yeah.
Because the storm's going to pass over. Very simple. But what about them? What about Team Scorpion?
Right.
Why don't you guys just go in the tunnel?
That's what I thought. When they got back and they decided like, oh, we're not going to be able to get out of here on time.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And they were like, we have nowhere to go. Didn't you just save some people and put them somewhere?
Yeah.
So do you think that's not a safe place? Are they probably going to fly away? And you're like, we probably shouldn't go there. Right? Was it at max capacity? Did it say like occupancy, only 8 people? So they were like,
Yeah,
I don't understand.
That's like, how far were you? It seems you get there real quick.
Yeah, okay, maybe it was, let's maybe say that they're already on, the dangerous spot.
Okay, so they can't go in.
There you go.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm like just thinking of reasons.
We're just giving them, and the thing is that they have found some stuff. They find like dog tags, bullet casings, but the storm is worse, and it's kind of like the John Pandova wants to stay there and like kind of finish the job and get everything, and the other people are like, we're gonna die because of this tornado, because now it's a tornado. Now it's not just a storm, it is a F4 tornado coming 3 miles out, 1 mile wide. That sounds
huge.
intense.
Yeah.
Sounds like I would just cry.
Yeah, we don't get those here.
We do not get those here. And like always, I feel like it's always Toby that says something that triggers a thought for Walter when he's like, it's not like we can control the weather. Light bulb. Yes, we can control the weather. In order to stop this tornado, they're trying to drop dry ice.
I liked that part.
The only thing I liked it, how did that was a lot of ice. It was 12,156 pounds of ice. Dry ice. How quick did you get that?
Yeah, that's true.
But I like the idea.
Yeah, I like the idea. Yeah, that was kind of a stretch how they did it. They just happened to have the truck, somewhere to bed it on,
they got
somewhere
the
to put
trucks
it
from
in,
Quan.
some big bags. Yeah,
From Quan.
But I like the whole idea of it. There are a few CGI things I was like, I was like, that didn't look great. But I love the concept of it. Yeah, I like that.
And so they need the 3 trucks to each drop this dry ice in certain positions of the tornado.
To spread out the cold.
To spread out the cold. If it drops, then it'll just be like crazy winds, and they can handle that.
Right.
But this tornado is going to knock everybody on their booty. So they go into 3 groups, basically. And we get Quintus, who are not the first drop. I think they're the second drop. But it's funny because isn't that when he loses that's when he uses a Swiss Army knife. Yeah. And he's like, business expense.
Right, booyah.
Booyah, because in order to find the materials that they were looking for, they had to bring materials in to like scan so that the machine knew what it was looking for.
So you had to go to like an Army Navy store or something like that.
Right, and he bought a Swiss Army knife and wanted it to be paid by by Homeland. And so he uses it there. But the first drop is Tim and Cabe. They're the first drop, and they have it easy. Then Toby and Happy get the second drop. And then it's Walter and Paige. But they have so many issues with the truck slowing down.
Right.
Which is like, seriously?
Yeah.
What about the other
just
trucks?
Slow down, just died.
Well, that was after they dropped the ice.
Oh, you mean okay?
Because he's like, we're not going to make it.
Right.
Slows down. I was like, but the other isn't the same truck.
Yeah.
So why is yours slower?
Maybe it was like the first truck they bought, and the other ones were like a few newer models. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe we'll give them that. And so the pace of the pace that they're going is going to cause them to arrive at the same time as a tornado, and that's not no bueno.
Right.
They needed to arrive before that to drop the ice. So Walter tells Paige to get out of the truck. Just get out. I'm going to kill myself.
I know, right?
Sacrifice for the greater good, because that's what he thinks.
But it also kind of didn't seem super safe for her to just get out in the middle of, right? I mean, for me, I kind of felt like, that's weird. Where is she going to go? What is she going to hold on to?
There is kind of a tornado.
Windy?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. But he was trying to save her.
Yeah.
Because he was basically going to drive into it to drop the ice and still save everyone else. And then that's when Tim's like, Paige, listen to him.
Right.
Get out of there. She's like, no, I'm not going to do it. You know, I love Walter, even though I'm not going to say it out loud.
I feel like Walter almost sacrifices himself every episode.
Yeah.
Right? He almost always is just willing to, like, I don't know if he totally doesn't think it through that he could die from this, but I feel like he does it every time.
Yeah, and I think it has to do with his character. I think it has to do with
his like God complex, like
not his God complex. His I just don't understand. Like me, if I die, I don't think he thinks about like how it affects other people.
Right.
Like I just don't think he thinks about it. I think he's just like, I'm on a mission. This is for the greater good.
Right. Yeah. If I die, that's just what happens.
That's just what happens. Right. So, and I think it's his character. Yeah. So I like that we have consistently got that because you know, makes it would be in his character. Toby and Happy are always like, this doesn't make any sense, this is ridiculous. Like they're always more grounded,
right? Sly doesn't do anything,
and Sir's always at home chilling, you know.
Yeah, he is always home.
I mean, he's home, but he was calculating a lot of stuff. And in order to know exactly where in order to drop all the ice and know exactly where the tornado was going, they had to use Ralph's machine.
Yeah.
And it's so cute because he didn't want to. He's like, my professor failed me.
Yeah.
And then that's when we talked about Paige's moment, Paige's smile. But they're using that machine as we speak in this episode to try and find exactly where the tornado is going. And I liked how, I don't know who asked, somewhere in my notes, but I think it was Toby or Happy was like, why don't they use this in Kansas? I love that they asked that because I was like,
gonna think that.
Yeah, why isn't this used today?
Right.
And he says that because of where they are.
Because it's a valley, they know exactly where the tornado is going to go.
Right. It's kind of like has no choice as to where it's going. But I love that they asked that because I kind of was thinking that too, where it was like, well, why don't we use?
Although I'm still kind of thinking, I mean, right? There have to be a way to use that sort of technology in a way. You know what I mean? So maybe we're getting there, but I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. So it's like maybe we can. Maybe there is something that can be done.
Right.
Not like is this dramatic, but yeah. So since Paige is not going to get out of the car, dramatic stuff happens.
Yeah.
I
like, sorry, real quick. I love that Ralph's like, Mom, I want you to get out of there.
Oh,
So
okay.
sweet. Right?
Yeah.
I know, right? She's
Like,
like, now I'll do
get
it. Oh, now I'll do it. But it was so cute.
It was very sweet, but I just
Yeah.
was like, okay, Ralph, let her just step out of the box. Like, I don't understand. But it was very cute. It was sweet. And it needed to be said because it showed the danger. Ralph was like realizing the danger of the situation, you know? So I was like, I get it, but it just was like, maybe you could have said something else. All right. And so they basically, what Walter does is like a 360 Fast and Furious spin.
Yeah.
That has to be done in 9 seconds. Or 9 seconds. And as he spins, the ice is dropped behind him.
Yes.
And then the tornado is coming. So the tunnel should be taking the dry ice and they drive off.
I like that.
Yeah, I thought it was cool too.
That's a good idea. Yeah. I was like, why didn't you just think that from the get-go?
Yeah.
That's way cooler.
That is way cooler.
Or were you going to stop and then just like drop it off?
And I like that we get Walter again driving a car.
Yeah, always.
Always. Driving a car. Doing crazy stunts on cars.
That's true.
Yeah.
Although it's kind of weird that he didn't tell Paige because I feel like she could have just hit her head right on that.
I mean, he tells her to buckle in and to hold on.
That's true, yeah. But man, that turn was so,
He should have told her what they were doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, hey, the velocity of this is going to make you whatever, so
Yeah.
maybe lean this way. Or, I think that would have been kind of cool. But
yeah, it's kind of cool. Kind of nice. It would have been gentlemanly of you to let me know which way I was going to fly. But whatever. So it works, kind of. And they start driving away.
Yeah.
And then the car breaks down.
Right? Man.
Why?
Right? It's a problem. What did you say? C.9?
C.52.
Oh
Yeah. I would have been so good if they would have just driven off and into the sunlight and into like we did it type of thing. The whole thing that happens after that, I didn't need it.
This last part?
Yeah, the last part, I did not need it. So the car breaks down, and that's when we get the crazy scenes of like them flying away, basically. Mary Poppins with instead of an umbrella holding onto a branch.
Yes.
And
Okay, 2 things. I wish, because the whole like direction thing, I don't know, they were running this way, away, and then I don't know, it was just weird to me, like the whole like direction of it. And then I felt like it would have been cool to see the truck like you know
taken.
Yeah, or like the truck, or to see like why they need to leave the truck, you know what I mean? To see the truck like goes by them or something. That would have been like epic, but yeah, I like what you're saying, like what was the point of that? Like they could have ended it there. I feel like had Paige had that moment, like we talked about what we wanted, then it would have been worth it. Then I would have been like, okay, this makes sense. But because they like really threw it away,
they really did.
They really didn't make anything of Walter saving Paige's life, literally holding on to her life,
dear life.
You know what I mean? They didn't really make much of it, and so that was the only thing I was like, all right.
And it's so true. And he was going to save her before himself. He was going to tie her arm.
Exactly.
And then
he just
and then the tornado kind of starts.
True.
Like he was always going to protect her.
Yeah, he was ready to just go.
He was going to figure it out.
To him. Yeah, that's so true.
So it's just like something that could have been such a good moment between the characters, and they threw it away.
Right.
I like how you said that. That's the right word. Threw it away.
One more thing.
Why?
They were just holding on. I mean, can you really hold on to someone with your hands like that? I wish they were like grabbing on or like hugging.
But
that would have
no
been so
way.
intimate. I know, yeah. But like in that moment, had Walter like just strapped him in and like just held her, that would have been so intimate. And I feel like that moment would have been, I don't know, more believable for me as opposed to this.
Really, I feel like that would have lost the. I mean, the whole thing was a little unbelievable. Let's just say that, right? But I'm saying if that would have happened, it would have made it even less believable because if it's that powerful, there's no way he could bring her in.
Right.
And at that point, he was like strapping, so she was behind him.
Yeah.
So
I'm saying like before that, you know what I mean?
That,
like had he prepared it that way.
So just completely different.
I'm just thinking like them holding on hands was so like, how are you gonna, right? Can you really do that? My hands are slippery, so
and I would have been sweating at that point because I would have been nervous.
Mine are sweating right now, so I'm a little clammy.
So I would have been like, sorry about the clamminess as we slowly slip away.
Yeah.
And I just put lotion on.
Right? But you smell good.
Yeah.
I just wish it would have meant more. Then it would have like been worth it to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I completely agree. I wish it would have meant more. But the ice eventually cools down the tornado and it stops and they just fall flat on their face. Just
that how that would happen?
Was that a stunt double or was that you guys?
Right, yeah.
Because that was a belly flop
was
straight to the
dolls.
ground.
Yeah.
And then they go back to the garage, and that's where it ends. We get Mrs. Pandova for no reason. We get her coming in. We talked about that, and then we talked about Walter and Tim, and we discussed the end of it. And it ends with Walter trying to beat his score because he is trying to beat Tim. Mm-hmm. He will try and beat Tim the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. Tim will be in it. But let's go into predictions a little bit.
Yeah.
And we don't have anything for next week. I believe there's no episode.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Yes, I believe there's no episode next week. Mm-hmm. We'll be back April 11th.
Yes.
And then 3 more episodes will run till April 24th or 25th, whatever Monday that is. So, questions for you. Will we get Linda? How many times will we get Linda in the next 3 episodes?
Like how many episodes?
Yeah. Is she going to be in the 3, or should we just going to see her one time?
1 or 2.
1 or 2.
Not all 3. I don't think she's going to make the finale.
She's not going to be. So you.
I'm cutting her from the finale.
So Linda and Walter done by the
but
season.
Also, this is the person that said that she was never going to come back. So really, I knew nothing.
So these predictions are just
crap.
What she says, opposite will happen.
Right.
So
you can just skip this part.
You don't think we'll get her in the 3rd season? Like, you think their story is going to end with this season?
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that the season finale, I don't know, maybe this is just wishful thinking
Tell
rather
me
than like an actual prediction,
finale?
what's logical. What I want for the season finale is something that just, makes Walter realize Linda is not it. I am a Paige guy, you know what I mean? And then he has to fight for Paige through Tim, but by then Tim and Paige will already have some sort of like relationship or something going on,
Okay.
That's what I'm hoping.
So he dumps Linda.
Right.
To go after Paige. And
Right.
then does he kind of see... So is it going to be real dramatic? Like, he runs somewhere to see her, and then she's going to be with Tim, and then they're like about to kiss, and he doesn't interrupt.
Right. So Paige and Tim are getting married, and and then they say "Forever hold your peace," and Walter's like, no, but something like that.
Something like that.
I don't know. I just feel like Walter needs some sort of push to see like, oh, it's not that I just need to be with someone. I need to be with Paige. Yeah, that's what I want to happen.
And everything Toby has been saying is true for the last
right, exactly.
Season. So Tim, next season,
yeah,
is he gonna be the problem? Is he gonna be the reason Paige and Walter remain off for season 3?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I definitely see him through the finale because he's like the main character,
right?
I don't know. I think he'll be in season 3, but not like
the whole.
Not the whole thing.
Not the whole thing.
He's
like,
not part of the team.
Off.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And
maybe he'll start it off just to like refresh you from tension from last season. But yeah, I don't think he's gonna be part of the team or like a permanent character.
Because he's been hinting. I feel like in the last episode he also made a hint about like Team Scorpion and joining Team Scorpion.
Right. And I don't like that. Who are you? Nobody invited you.
Who are you?
Right?
We don't need you.
You can't just say you're part of the team.
You don't even go here.
Yeah. Someone needs to invite you.
You
can't just go sit at their table.
Yeah, and he's been there at 7 a.m. bright and early playing Proton Arnold. All right, okay. We don't probably get John Pandova back, right?
No,
we don't get Pandova back.
No, they closed it out nicely with his mama, right?
Mama, that's true, with his mama. We will get. Would you help me?
Yeah.
Hey, would you help me?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're gonna see. I hope that they're either like. This whole thing with Sylvester is done. I hope that it's not like left in the air. Like we're questioning it, the whole case thing.
Yeah.
I hope if they're really done with it, that it's like
they at least acknowledge it.
Yeah, I
don't mind it being over because I don't really care too much.
Right.
I mean, I like that he's trying to do that for Megan, but yeah, I didn't really care too much about.
Yeah. So I hope that they really just tell us like we're done with this. Whether it's like, oh, I got the money somewhere else. We're just gonna do it.
Right.
Cool. But just tell us because right now we're confused. So I hope they let us know. And yeah, I agree that. I don't know if he'll leave Linda by the end of the season.
So you think she's gonna be in season 3?
I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if she's like in like the beginning. Maybe it is. Maybe that will be the big season finale. that he realizes Paige is what he needs, and it's just too late. Like at that point, there's already a relationship between Paige and Tim.
Right. And baby daddy, we have not gotten
Drew.
him back.
Yeah, we forgot about that guy.
I mean, right? We talked about him for about what, a good like 19 episodes.
Yeah.
Even though he hasn't been in any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get Drew, and he'll be the problem. Another problem for Paige. Like, I don't know. I don't like. I want Paige and Walter together, but I don't mind Tim for the moment.
Okay.
That's how I. So Susannah feels good about that one. Okay. All right. Did we cover everything? I think so. Oh, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in this week, last week, the week that comes up. We really appreciate it. Susannah, where can they find you on Twitter, Instagram?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Susannah_Kim. It's SUSANNAH.
And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos, MONSEBOLANOS. Again, there is no episode next week. We will not be here, but you can still tweet us. We will see you April 11th, was a Monday, so April 13th. We will see you 6 p.m. here LA time for the next episode of Scorpion. Yeah. Thanks again.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.